When a company gets so big, it's more powerful than a lot of countries, you have to ask, where does its responsibility really lie? Is it just about making a profit for shareholders? Or is it about its duty to the society that allows it to even exist? That's the tightrope walk of modern business, that razor-thin line between profit and, well, doing the right thing.
Enron, WorldCom, Satyam. These aren't just names you skim in a business class. They're stories of absolute disaster. We're talking about fortunes that just vanished, trust that completely evaporated. And why? All because the relentless drive for profit steamrolled right over any sense of ethical conduct. It really makes you wonder, what happens when that chase for profit turns poisonous?
So, let's get into it. When profits turn toxic. I mean, we've seen just how bad things can get, which is exactly why we need some guardrails. This isn't about killing profit, not at all. It's about making sure it doesn't end up causing a whole lot of damage. And the ripple effect here is just massive. This isn't about a few bad apples in a boardroom. The fallout from these huge scandals costs governments billions, and guess who picks up the tab? Taxpayers. It can even tarnish an entire country's reputation, making other people think twice before doing business there. Okay, so if the damage is that big, how do we prevent it? Well, the first line of defense isn't another law, but an idea. It's about building a kind of moral compass inside the company itself. And this is where we get the term business ethics. What's cool is that the word ethics comes from the Greek ethos, which means character. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Business ethics isn't just some boring rulebook. It's about weaving a certain character, a set of principles, right into the DNA of how a company does business. Now, this is a really key point to get. Being legal is not the same thing as being ethical. The law, that's the floor. It's the absolute bare minimum you have to do to not get in trouble. Ethics, on the other hand, is about what you do next. It kicks in where the law stops, guiding you through all those gray areas where you actually have to choose what the right thing to do is. So, over time, what society expected from companies started to change. It wasn't enough anymore for companies to just not break the law or not cause harm. A whole new idea started bubbling up, that maybe, just maybe, businesses should actively use their immense power to do good. And this idea got a name. CSR. And here it is, Corporate Social Responsibility, or CSR for short. Now, the magic word here is integrate. This isn't about writing a check to a charity at Christmas and calling it a day. CSR is about fundamentally weaving social and environmental awareness right into the company's business model, into how it deals with everyone, its employees, its customers, and the communities it operates in. A really great way to think about CSR is through something called the triple bottom line. The idea is simple. A truly successful company can't just look at its financial profit. It has to measure its success in two other ways. Its impact on people, that's the social bottom line, and its impact on the planet, the environmental one. It's all about finding a balance between these three Ps: people, planet, and profit. For a long, long time, CSR was totally voluntary, a nice to have. But some countries started thinking, you know what, this is too important to just leave to chance. And India, for example, took a huge groundbreaking step. They turned this nice idea into an actual concrete law. They did it with Section 135 of their Companies Act back in 2013. And this was a massive deal. It literally made India the first country in the world to make CSR spending mandatory for its biggest companies. This was a complete game changer, moving from a suggestion to a requirement. So who exactly has to do this? Well, the law is pretty specific. It targets the big players based on their financials. As you can see, a company gets roped in if it has an annual turnover of over 1,000 crore rupees, a net worth of over 500 crore, or a net profit of over 5 crore. And get this, you only have to meet one of those criteria. So what's the rule? It all boils down to this one number, 2%. These companies are required by law to spend at least 2% of their average net profit from the last 3 years on specific CSR projects. It's not a suggestion anymore, it's the law. All right, so this brings us to the big, juicy question. Is making companies do this just a burden, a tax on their success, or is it actually a hidden opportunity? Let's take a look at what this actually looks like in the real world.
Let's start with Tata Chemicals. For them, this isn't some annoying chore. They say it's central to their whole philosophy. They've spent millions on CSR, and a huge chunk of that, about 30%, has gone to protecting wildlife in the same areas where they have their factories.
Or take a tech giant like Infosys. Through their foundation, they've jumped into massive environmental projects, like restoring lakes and other water bodies across the state of Karnataka. They're using their resources to tackle a really critical issue for the whole region.
Now, on the social side, check out Mahindra & Mahindra's Nanhi Kali program, which means Little Bud. It's given educational support to hundreds of thousands of underprivileged girls. That's a clear, direct investment in empowering the next generation.
And I love this one. Amol Dairy shows how you can tie CSR directly to your own business. They give loans to their own milk producers to build toilets. Think about it. They're improving sanitation and hygiene for the community, which also strengthens the health and well-being of their own supply chain. It's a win-win. So, this all leads us right into the heart of the debate. On one side, the benefits are pretty clear, right? It boosts your reputation, makes talented people want to work for you, and builds trust with the local community. But the critics have some really valid points too. It takes money away from the main business, it could mean less profit for shareholders, and let's be honest, most companies aren't experts in social work. And that leaves us right here with the ultimate question. Is forcing companies to be socially responsible just another tax on being successful? Or is it the greatest opportunity a business has to build a stronger brand, a happier workforce, and a more sustainable world? The answer? Well, it feels like that's a story that's still being written.